So yeah, guys, I had a whole plan, like a whole skit thought up in this little noggin here, and the prop didn't come in right, so I had to send it back and get a new prop. But that skit is coming. It will be standalone. Plus, it's probably one of my longer skits anyway, so it would make the video even beefier. So it's probably a good thing that it's going to be on its own. But yeah, a skit is coming for this. I'm getting the prop in by Saturday. Of this recording. That'll be tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to figure out how to get that all sorted out, and I have it all planned out. I can give you a little sneak peek real fast. I don't have any scenes shot. I only have storyboards, so a quick... Alright, yeah. This Thor skit is going to be on its own standalone thing. It's called Thor Love and Hammers, and I hope you like it. So, yeah. No skit today, but skit is on the way. So, yeah. Hope to see you there. Now enjoy the review. It's time for Thor 4, Thunder and More. That really should be part of a fireworks ad for the 4th of July. Please send my regards to whoever needs this information. Thor Love and Thunder is directed by Taika Waititi and is the follow-up to 2017's Thor Ragnarok, which was a pretty good movie, pretty great movie, as well as Thor's appearances in Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War. Switch the orders the other way around. Yeah, I'm sure we can do that in post. The movie follows Thor, played again by Chris Hemsworth, as he tries to find his way in the universe. His little what's his purpose and stuff. And kind of retreading Thor Ragnarok just a tiny bit, but it's in a different way. Before he is surprised by the reappearance of his old flame from the past Thor movies, Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, who is also rocking some Thor gear. She has the hammer as well. Mjolnir is reconstructed somehow. What? Whoa, that would be pretty shocking to see your ex on the battlefield dressed as you. And they must stop a new deadly force in Gorr, the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, which is phenomenal. So this movie's a mixed bag for me, which is starting to be a common theme with these mainstream blockbuster movies, which I hoped would never happen in my lifetime, because... yeah, I used to love these movies, but it's definitely on the better side of mixed bags of recent movies like Doctor Strange and Jurassic World, at least for me. Because at the end of the day, this movie is definitely super entertaining and is definitely a fun watch with plenty of humor and action throughout. So on that front, they succeed 100%, and it's like a really good movie. So first, I want to get into the good. This is one of the most colorful and most visually appealing Marvel movies to date, with all these popping colors of different aliens and races and planets and how they structure their buildings. Is just very nice to look at. It's a very cosmic adventure, so you get to see a lot of beautiful space backdrops and crazy planets they get to explore on their journey to find this butcher, not played by Carl Urban. And there's a whole excellent sequence in the movie that contrasts the rest of the film with a black and white aesthetic that is only illuminated by special magical weapons having color to them, which makes it very visually appealing set of scenes. This visual style also helped a lot more with convincing the audience, at least myself, that the CGI was good, because it's just these colorful worlds, and so anything really goes, and the CGI looks amazing because we're in these cartoonish landscapes all the time and not like really in a real world situation too often. The action is over the top, but in the best way, like in a B-movie way, where it's just like all sorts of different weapons and abilities are being used at all times. It's just crazy how colorful the fight scenes end up being. And the best part is you can see pretty much all the action clearly, because there's, you know, long takes and there's not that much shakiness. You get to get a lot of the action in those pupils, in your eyes, all over your eyes. Why am I still dragging this? And there's an excellent montage at a certain point in the film that catches us up on the Jane and Thor relationship and what happened there, and it's so well done, and there's like so much nuance throughout it, with nice realism to like relationships and how some may unfold even if both parties don't mean it to. Sadly, the same can't be said for the rest of the movie with their dynamic. I wish they had continued with those type of dynamics, because they were really deep and really nice and sweet, and it brought a lot of nuance and character to their story that the rest of the movie kind of lacks. But Christian Bale as Gorr the God Butcher is the standout performance for me, because he's just so creepy and eerie. He just is excellent. He like steals every scene he's in because he's just so committed. He's able to like deliver that pain behind those sunken yellow eyes, as well as being that freaky force of nature that's killing all these gods from different mythologies. And he is just so good, and I wish they had more scenes with him, because while he's a presence throughout the movie, it seems like there could have been a little more with him, just like a few more action scenes or like any scenes. Like honestly, I could just see him just talking for an hour or something. I'll go to his TED Talk. Bale just gives a very creepy yet sympathetic performance, and it's so well done. Now I'm sort of going to get into the mixed elements for me. The things I'm more mixed on. Geez, that took way too long to just say. Chris Hemsworth returns and he's great as Thor. He brings that comedy chops again that he showed on Ragnarok and some parts of his appearances in the Avengers movies. The problem is, I feel like they took the character in such a goofy direction that he non-stop tells jokes and almost seems like a parody of himself. He almost seems dumb at certain points, like he feels like he's lost some of his intelligence just because he's non-stop joking all the time, which kind of sucks because there's sort of like a balance in past performances. He was able to bring those comical chops, and it almost seems more effective because less is more. Natalie Portman is hit or miss for me as well. I mean, this is her best performance in the MCU so far, and she's really good on some parts, but then other parts she comes off a little too, like, I wouldn't say try hard. No, like her moments come off cute, but she just comes off a little slightly over the top. It's hard to explain, but otherwise she like does a pretty good job throughout the movie.
Also forgot to mention, she does a really good job with her serious scenes, with her cancer plot, and she really sells that struggle with the time she's got in fighting the cancer. It's really well done. It's just when she's trying to be a superhero, and it's supposed to be quirky and stuff, but it almost seems overly quirky. Again, being closer to parody or like too over the top, but otherwise she does a great job. And the chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman is so much better in this movie than the past movies, and they come off really cute and awkward, even though sometimes it feels a little too awkward or that they're doing too much.
Korg is good in the movie as well, but also comes off as an impression of himself from Ragnarok almost. Taika Waititi providing the voice, and he's funny at certain points, but also again, like, even the delivery in his voice sounds almost parody or like an impression of the Ragnarok version, which is a common theme. It feels like, to me at least, it feels like they're trying to do another Ragnarok, but much more goofier, and thus a lot of the characters come off almost parody-like, except for Valkyrie. Tessa Thompson is good as Valkyrie, but she also comes off a little like there's something missing, like there's a missing ingredient in her performance or something, because I don't know, she takes a back seat to how good of a character she was in Ragnarok. The comedy is also hit or miss. Like there's a lot of super hilarious moments. Like I like this jealousy theme going on with a certain character. There's a lot of funny moments. I like the recreation of past Thor events like they did in Ragnarok, with even more famous little actors making cameos. But otherwise, I felt like a lot more jokes fell flat in this movie compared to Ragnarok, and too many jokes were a little too try hard, or were trying to recreate some of the magic from the past movie, but ends up falling a little flat. The humor was more consistent in Ragnarok, and that's what keeps happening with this movie for me. Also, the soundtrack, while good at certain points, also felt a little tacked on compared to how Ragnarok utilized its soundtrack, which was very nice and original at the time. It's more well used last time, and this time the use of the soundtrack in this is a little less genuine and feels tacked on. And now the baddish. Russell Crowe appears as Zeus and has a Greek accent, which is pretty funny at first, but then kind of got annoying and grating, and I have to give him props. He was really committed to the part, but the part ended up falling apart. Even though part of his character was his arrogance and like how he's full of himself, it still like comes off a little too much. The pace of this movie is a little too quick, and this will also segue into me talking about the tone of the movie, which is my biggest issue with it. The pace just like bounces along and doesn't really give you much time to rest. It's a 2-hour movie, and I feel like they should have extended its runtime a little bit, just to let certain scenes breathe, or at least let the tone like reset and balance out sort of, because like something serious will happen, but then it's all of a sudden like back to the adventure. Ends up making it feel like stuff is just happening, like just crazy cosmic stuff is just happening, one thing after the other. And my biggest issue with this movie is its tone, because while Ragnarok was a very, very comedy-based movie, it was still able to, let me readjust my seat. It was still able to have serious moments and quieter moments, so Thor can like reflect and, you know, grow as a character and stuff. In this movie, while they attempt to have certain moments like that, it falls flat because it's just non-stop. Everyone's making jokes and everything seems to be focused on the comedy rather than the serious aspects. They attempt to make it like serious on certain parts, but the tone just clashes with those serious moments because one second it's a goofy Thor adventure and the next it's talking about cancer, and it's like, instead of feeling like a sympathetic, like we should be feeling for this character moment, it feels more like a bummer type thing. It was like, oh, this is a bummer. Let's get back to the adventures and fun, right, guys? That's my other biggest problem. Thor Ragnarok handled its serious moments better, and this movie arguably has darker subject matters with like children being taken by a creepy monstrous force, Jane Foster dealing with cancer, and a creep running around calling himself the God Butcher is just like contrasted with this super goofy tone that's just throughout the movie. Like, I couldn't take anything serious. Like, low-key, like with the pace, it didn't give enough time to breathe, and with the tone, it just kept on being overly goofy. Like on the cancer plot, they really drive home how serious this thing is, but then make jokes about it and stuff, or like around it, I guess. But they don't handle it well, in my opinion. Which leads into my other big problem with this movie, which I will not get into any spoilers with. And that is the movie where I feel like death and consequences doesn't really matter, because certain things happen, certain characters seem like they're in peril, but no, not for once did I think, oh, they're actually going to like hit the dust or anything. Bite the dust, not hit it. That'd be painful. It's just non-stop comedy and fun adventures, and I don't feel like anyone's in peril, even when the movie is trying to tell me, oh, this is a sad moment. It's not a sad moment. Like, everyone's going to be fine, which hopefully Marvel can take care of that in the future and later down the line, because I don't know, it's just going to be an issue for the rest of these movies. I feel like not a single time did I feel like someone's going to stay permanently dead, which is also a tone problem. But yeah, Thor Love and Thunder, it's an entertaining movie. It's very visually appealing. There's a lot of great action scenes and adventures that Thor goes on with his crew. There's an outstanding performance by Christian Bale as this creepy villain, and it has the potential with its themes and story to be this great, amazing movie. The problem being, it just falls short, feeling more like a retread of Ragnarok, but less impactful and funny and a little lost in its tone. And is just trying way too hard to be goofy and funny, and thus loses a lot of its impact despite serious topics and heavy tones and themes it's trying to portray. Gets drowned out by all the comedy and goofiness. Thus, Thor Love and Thunder, I give a 7.3 out of 10. It's still a super entertaining movie, definitely worth seeing in theaters, and I really enjoyed myself watching it and stuff. It's just, it could have been way better, and Marvel needs to get on their A game about dealing with their tone and stuff, not letting comedy take over the entire tone of the movie, and also establish better stakes and ways to worry about the characters again, because at this point I just feel like nothing bad's going to ever happen to anybody, and if so, it could be reversed. So, with no spoilers. No spoilers. So what'd you think about Thor Love and Thunder? Did you enjoy the comedy more than me? Do you think it was as good as Ragnarok? Better than Ragnarok? How would you rate the Thor movies? I mean, I think most people, including myself, would have Dark World at the bottom, even though I really did like that movie when it first came out. Like, it was fun, it was enjoyable. It more directly brought in the whole Infinity Stone saga, and but anyway, and just your general thoughts about the movie, and please like and subscribe and put on that notification bell, because you know my videos are going to be drowned out from copyright infringement. Not this time, I don't think, but I like using other people's music. What can I say? Still a missed opportunity to play with Thor and the letter 4, but you know, some people are just not as clever. They're not as dad jokey as me. I'm sure the title would have been great. But anyway, yeah, have a good one. Thunder out. Or Thunder out.